Hello everyone, this is Power, and in this video I'm going to introduce the build that I'm currently using in the Talisman Normal League, which is a double strike build. So this build revolves around using the Thief's Torment ring. I've always thought that the Thief's Torment prismatic ring has a very interesting concept, and I wanted to make a build around it. And double strike is a skill that goes well with Thief's Torment because the main reason for using Thief's Torment, at least for me to decide to use Thief's Torment, are the two last mods. So as you can see, the two final mods in the list of mods from Thief's Torment here say that you have 30 life gained for each enemy hit by your attacks and 15 mana gained for each enemy hit by your attacks. So for every hit that you make with any attack, melee or projectile, you get back 30 life and 15 mana. These are pretty high gain on hit values. 30 is already kind of high, and 15 for mana is really high in Path of Exile. And to capitalize on this, you want to attack very fast, because the more hits you can get in a short amount of time, the more times you're going to trigger the life gain on hit and mana gain on hit. So a very good skill to capitalize on these mods is double strike, because double strike hits twice. Every time you attack with double strike, you do 2 hits. And if you support it with multi-strike, which is a pretty basic support gem for any melee build, then instead of 2, you're going to actually have 6 hits. So every time you attack with double strike, you're actually making 6 hits. So if you're hitting 6 times, you get 6 times 30 life gain on hit and 6 times 15 mana gain on hit from the Thief's Torment mods. So that's the main idea of the build. To go with this idea, I decided to use claws, because claws can have the implicit modifier of life gain on hit, which stacks with the modifier from Thief's Torment. So right now I'm using this Throat Stabber, which isn't really great. I can improve this claw a lot more. There are claws with more DPS, more attack speed, and more life gain on hit in the end game, but I just hit level 75 with this build, so my gear isn't really great. But right now it has 21 life gain on hit, which stacks with the 30 from Thief's Torment, giving me 51 life gain on hit by using Thief's Torment and the Throat Stabber together. Another way to improve this mechanic is, for example, allocating the Revelry notable on the Duelist tree, which increases your maximum mana and also gives you another 2 mana gain on hit for every enemy hit by your attacks. So this 2 mana gain on hit stacks with the 15 mana gain on hit from Thief's Torment, giving you 17 mana gain on hit every time you hit something, so 17 mana. As I said, double strike hits 6 times, so every time you use double strike it hits 6 times. So you have 6 times 17 mana recovered to you for every time you use double strike. Not for every time you use double strike, for every hit that you make with double strike. So 6 times 17 is 102 mana. So if you click once and you hit 6 times with double strike, you're getting 102 mana back. But double strike is a very low cost skill. The base cost of double strike is 5 mana, and in this 5 link setup that I have here, it costs me to make 25 mana. So I'm spending 25 mana, but I get 102 back. So I actually have a surplus of 77 mana. So because I have this high surplus, I decided to make this a Mind Over Matter build. So it's a Mind Over Matter build that sustains Mind Over Matter with mana gain on hit instead of sustaining it with mana regeneration. So for those who don't know, Mind Over Matter says when hit, 30% of damage is taken from mana before life. So this means that if you get hit for 100 damage, then you're not going to lose 100 life. You're actually going to lose 70 life and 30 mana, because 30% of all damage goes to your mana before. So usually to sustain Mind Over Matter, the builds go for mana regeneration, so they get lots of mana regeneration. And lately, since the Awakening was launched, people are trying to sustain Mind Over Matter with a combo of Zealot's Oath and Eldritch Battery, and possibly Ghost Reaper as well. So you have to take lots of keystones together with Mind Over Matter to try to sustain it. It's also viable, but in this build I'm trying to sustain Mind Over Matter in a more simple way with just mana gain on hit, and as I said, I've just hit level 75 and I think the mechanics are working pretty well. I'm going to show you a gameplay video so you can have your own conclusions, but I think it's a very simple way to sustain your Mind Over Matter, and it works pretty well. The thing about it is you have to be constantly hitting things to sustain your Mind Over Matter. If you stop hitting things and you're being attacked, then you're probably going to see your mana drop really fast, and after your mana drops fast, your life is going to drop fast and you're going to die. So you have to be constantly hitting things. To be able to be constantly hitting things, there are some things you can do. One of them is to allocate Unwavering Stance, which means you cannot be stunned. Being stunned is a very bad thing for this build, because if you are stunned, then it interrupts your attacks and you're not hitting anything for a brief second, and in this brief second you're not getting any mana and life back, and you're going to end up with 0 mana and you're going to die. So being stunned is pretty bad, but you can solve this problem with Unwavering Stance. Another thing that can prevent you from hitting stuff is being frozen, which is very bad. Also, the same problem with being stunned, but I avoid being frozen with just maxing my cold resistance and having high life. Right now I have 5k life, so I'm not frozen frequently. I haven't had any problems with freezing so far in this build. Another thing you want to do is allocate Resolute Technique. So this is not a critical strike build, it's a Resolute Technique build, because with Resolute Technique your hits can't be evaded, which is very important because you want to always hit things, because you are triggering your life gain on hit and your mana gain on hit for every hit. If you don't hit, if you miss, or if enemies evade your attacks, then you're not going to trigger the life gain on hit and the mana gain on hit. So you want to be always hitting things. But even using these mechanics to avoid being stunned and to avoid being frozen and to always hit, sometimes you do reach 0 mana, especially because this is a Marauder build and Marauders don't really have lots of resources for mana. You're going to see that in my build I have 132 intelligence, which is just enough for using endgame claws, and it gives me some mana as well. And I have a total of 5 passive points that I invested on maximum mana. So you have the 2 here from the Revelry cluster, which gives us flat maximum mana and percentage maximum mana. And we have 3 from Battle Rouse. I'm going to explain about Battle Rouse in a second, which also gives some maximum mana. So on level 75 I have a total of 922 mana, which is low for a Mind Over Matter build. Mind Over Matter builds usually have over 1500 mana, even more. And you will see that I also reserve 75% of my mana using Hatred and Arctic Armor, so I only have 230 unreserved. I want to improve this a little by having an Enlightened gem linked with my Hatred and Arctic Armor, and also maybe getting some mana on my gear so I can have a bigger mana pool to sustain Mind Over Matter. But as long as you're attacking, you shouldn't have much of a problem with this. You can recover mana really fast, much faster than with any mana regeneration, just by using the mana gain on hit. But sometimes you do drop to 0 mana. So what you can do to deal with having 0 mana, first of all, is allocating Battle Rouse, as I said, because apart from giving you increased maximum mana, it also gives you this very special mod of 3% of damage taken gained as mana when hit. So let's suppose you take a very big hit, and in Mind Over Matter builds, very big hits usually leave you with very little mana or 0 mana. So let's suppose you take a hit of, for example, 1000 damage. If you take 1000 damage, you're going to get 3% of that gained as mana again. So if you take a hit of 1000 damage, you're going to have 30 mana left. You're not going to have 0 mana, you're going to have 30 mana. And as I said, double strike costs 25. So basically Battle Rouse is making sure that if you take a very big hit, you still have enough mana left to at least use double strike once. And if you use double strike once, then you're going to have all the 6 hits again, and you're going to recover all your mana again. So Battle Rouse really helps with those big hits. What can actually give you leave you at 0 mana in this build is lots of consecutive medium damage hits. So if instead of taking 1000 damage in one hit, you take like 10 hits of 100 damage consecutively very fast after one another, then that's kind of dangerous for you. So the other measure that I have to avoid going to 0 mana is just using hybrid flasks. But any Mind Over Matter usually uses hybrid flasks because they just fit with Mind Over Matter well. They recover both life and mana. So as you're being damaged, you're losing life and mana, so it makes sense to have flasks that recover both life and mana. So these are the measures I take to avoid going into 0 mana. That's pretty much it for the build. I'm going to make other videos with build guides and things like that. This is the current state of the build at level 75. As I said, I have 5k life. I have very low armor. I want to reach at least 10k armor later on, but right now I have just over 4k. I do have 5 endurance charges, and I'm going to get another endurance charge soon. I have 4 frenzy charges because I got one from Katrin, and I'm going to get another one here, so I'm going to have a total of 5 frenzy charges. The DPS right now without frenzy charges is 15k, and with the frenzy charges I can get 20k right now in this build. So for level 75, that's pretty good. As I said, it can be improved a lot if I have a better claw and things like that. And this is my current gear. It's nothing special really. I need to have bigger armor values on this gear. All my gear has high life and high resistances but low armor, as you can see. So I need higher armor values here to be able to be a little bit more tanky. But nothing special really. I do have a 6 link, but the rest has lots of room for improvement. But right now I'm going to leave you with some gameplay with this build, which is a Jungle Valley boss. So I did Jungle Valley at level 75, and as you know, Jungle Valley is a 74 map with a very overtuned boss. So the Spinner of False Hope is a very overturned boss, but I was able to kill the Spinner of False Hope with this build. I did die once. You're going to see why I died in the video. There was a Soul Eater rare mob, which is, you know, adding a lot to the damage, and the mods in the map were also very, you know, reapy. I had extra damage as elemental and stuff like that. So I'm going to leave you with that kill, and you can draw your own conclusions about the build. Thank you very much.